All right, so we got to. Let me move this back. Uh, we're really in the middle of. Let me excuse me. We're really in the middle of a sentence. Let's look back to where this began on page Kuf Kuf Nun. It says Shita Nafkein Ma'antha de Sharsha de Gufa. So there's an appendage onto the body that six come out of it. So he says Lishan Mamalo Rabavan. So Lishan is the idea of the middle line. That's what I remember from it. Lishan da sasim bein yud and k. That's the concept of the middle line. This is where we're picking it up right now on the next page, where it says Dechsiv ze yomer l'Hashem ani. Now I think that this is the passage the Rebbe Shem is bringing us here, and it seems like the Pirush wants to coin this in a certain way. So it says Zeh Yomer LaHashem Ani, that I am to. Zeh says that I am for Hashem. V'zeh Nikra b'Shem Yaakov. This one is called Yaakov. Yaakov. Now what that means I don't know yet. V'zeh Yichtov Yado LaHashem, and this is where it says that my hand is for Hashem. What is that? Yichtov Yado LaHashem u'v'Shem Yisrael Yechane Mamish. So it's also called by the name Yisrael. Zechab Yomer LaHashem Ani Achsa. So that was that idea, Achsa. We saw that before, which referred to the male aspect. Let's look over here on page Kufnem Gitnun Gimel, and we'll go over here to where we stopped yesterday. It says, Dechsiv Kamosha Kasav Zechab Yomer LaHashem Ani. What does this phrase mean? It just seems, it's just like a pledge. But he says, Zair Anpin, a Nikra Zeh. Now, why is Zair Anpin called Zeh? I know Zos usually meant Malchus. Here he says that in this pasuk, the word Zeh, which is number 12, Nikra Zeh, and that's referring to Zair Anpin, and there's a Yomer LaHashem Ani, and Zeh, who is Zair Anpin, says, I am for Hashem, Kolomar, this Havisi min Abba ve'ima haramalzeh b'milas LaHashem. So he says that my being came into being as a result of Abba ve'ima. So that he wants to say that that what we darshan here is that the name Hashem really refers to Abba ve'ima, Yud K and Vav K. So because Vav K is in the bottom end, and Yud K is where everything gets started. Now here's one I haven't heard before. Abba is the concept of la, and then it says excuse me, where bechinas Abba. V'os lamed shal milas lachavaya Romez, and he says it's a reference. Let me get my tea out of here. I don't have that disaster again. He says le'ima. So he says v'zechav yikrucha b'shem Yaakov, and then Zeh is also called by the name Yaakov. Bechina Zeh, this aspect called Zeh, that aspect which is a part of Zair Anpin, sha'amarno Rabbi yikrucha b'shem Yaakov, is also called by the name of Yaakov. Because what we're talking about is from the chest going upward, going downward, and that's what it says, my hand is for Hashem. What does that mean? Pirish, okay, Zeh refers to Zair Anpin, Zair Anpin, going upwards from the chest, is a cause of Yado Haromes Lesod Hamochem Enekra Yad Koseves. Now, this is all new what I'm trying to say, the new phrases or new Tai Ching. Let me read it again. The Pirish V'zeh, which we said is Zair Anpin, Habachina Chal Yonah Shel Zair Anpin, Shuhu Min Achaz Lamala, which is from, we understand that Bechina Chal Yonah is from the Chaz Lamala. I'm wondering what he wants to say, that Zeh refers to the entire Zair Anpin or only the upper part or the lower part. Cause of Yado, so he writes over there that Yado, his hand. How is it that Yado becomes a remez, L'sod HaMochen and Mikroim Yad Kosevis, which the Mochen are called, and this is a metaphor, is that they have the ability to write on something blank. That's what it sounds like to me, to make an impression. So HaMochen and Mikroim Yad Kosevis. So this bechina, this upper bechina has those shorsham min ava ve'ima. It comes from ava ve'ima. That's where they enter. Haramaza b'midas lahavaya canal, which we said previously, really refers to havaya. So he says ub'shem Yisrael yechane. So now we say the upper part. I guess that's why I had this question. What do you mean that the word Zeh, which is 12, referred to all of Zair Anpin or only the top part? So we're going on. B'Shem Yisrael Yechanis. It's called by the name Yisrael. That is the upper part for the Chaz Lamalo. He says Shel Zair Anpin B'Shem Yisrael Yechane. So it's called by the name Yisrael. V'ami Yechane Mamish. What does that mean? Nikra Yisrael ba'etzem. He's called in its root. It's called Israel. What does it mean? Kolomer af the Abba Nikra b'shem Yisrael Saba. So he says that also that we see Abba is called by the name of Yisrael Saba. That's like a lower generation of Abba. Amnam Gam Zair Anpin min ha'chaz lamala yechad mamash b'shem Yisrael. So he's also called by the name Yisrael. Now wait a minute. He said Yisrael Saba. Oh, because of the fact goes inside of Zair Anpin. So therefore Zair Anpin is also called Yisrael because that aspect, I guess he means to say, of Yisrael Saba comes into it. Is nar Yisrael, and this is the aspect of the child Yisrael. It brings another pasuk, nar Yisrael. It's young. Hanikra Bezoar, which is over there in the Zohar, Parshas Bo, B'Shem Yisrael Zuta. It's called the small Yisrael. So you have what? You have Yisrael Saba, which is, Saba is also Gematriia 63, as we know. So maybe that refers to, usually refers to Ima. So I'm not sure, but at any rate, we're not talking about the Saba part. We're only talking about the Yisraels. Well, we're talking about Yisrael. Okay, he's the Saba, and then there's also a Zuta. B'Shem Yisrael Zuta. So the pasuk says that this Zeh, that's their Anpin Yomer, L'Hashem Ani, I'm for Hashem. He the B'Shem Kavaya, who Abba Anikra Achsa, who is called the Achsa, which is Lashon lover canal. V'gam Iber Romuza Ba'os Lamed Shel Midas L'Havaya. So, to me, that was like a walk around the block. You know, I just don't know exactly what I got from this. But let's say that the main thing I would say from this is that there's an aspect of Yisrael Saba which is recognized, becomes a part of Zair Anpin. And that's the reason why the top part is Zair Anpin. This way I understood it. It is called, therefore it's called Yisrael. But the thing is that in $1.50 you get on the bus. I don't know what to do with that, except that he wants to show us a metaphor whereby the system is working. So let's go on. So in these first three letters, it's all speaking about Yud, K, Vav, the first three letters, which have a Gematriia of 21. Ne'emer b'shlosh osius Yaakov shel shem Yud, K, Vav, K. Ki tipa shisha kitzvo shel Zair Anpin, because the drops of the six corners of Zair Anpin, who besod os vav shel shem havaya, is really the secret of the vav shem shavai. So it's really looking at Zair Anpin. V'nimshach al yedei v'zivug abba v'ima, and where does it come about? It extends it out from the yichud that takes place between abba v'ima. Shehem shtei osius yak. They're the first two letters. Shel Shem Havaya Canal. So now you say it's Yud-Ke going into the Vav. So therefore, at the beginning, you have these three letters, Yaakov. So he said, V'kula Kalili. V'kol Shlosh Osias Yaakov, and all of these three letters of Yaakov, Eilu Nechlala B'tipa Zair Anpin, they're all in the drops of Zair Anpin. Now he put tipos, he has it plural. So originally, the reason why I say that is because originally there was a drop. So this drop came from Chochmah into Bina, and like that, now we're saying that it's drops. So Akula Kalila, V'kol Shlosh Osias Yaakov, Eilu Nechlala B'tipa Zair Anpin, so they all go into Zair Anpin, they come a part of the drops that are moving down Zair Anpin. And how does that happen? Belishon. Shebetoch Yisod Abba, because inside of the Yisod of Abba Hanikro Lashon, which is called Lashon, middle line seems to be called Lashon. Sosim the Ima, it closes itself up for Ima. What does that mean? Sosim Petach Yisod Ima, what it does, I don't really understand this. It closes up the Yisod of Ima, of Besod HaYichud. Now, why do you use the word closes? So anyway, but that's the language of the Rav. Besod HaYichud. V'oz nitenes tipa Zair Anpin b'mei ima besod ha'ivor. So I just need to read it again because it's going around for me. So that middle line, which is the tongue, he says this is really refers to the Yisod V'Abba Hanikra Lashon that's called by that name. So Lashon is like a line of an extended line, a Lashon of that. Sasim the Ima. So he says, Asaisim Pesach Yisod Ima. Now, what we're saying, like, Ima's Yisod stops at her chest. Abba, on the other hand, travels all the way through past that area into the Gilui and down to the Yisod of Zair Anpin. So where is it the fact that he says that let's go back to Hasosim Pesach Yisod Ima. So how's it closing it up? Well, it could because he's in the way. I don't know. Besod HaYichud. And at that point, when he's there, she and he are there. Is that what he means? I don't know. So then what happens is that drop of tipa of Ezer Anpin b'mei Iba is dropped into the womb of Ima, so the Iber, and she becomes impregnated. Now, we're going back here between Abba Ve'ima and the middle line. So apparently, didn't really get the transition there into this idea. Let's go on. The ha is patachasle. Ki ima niftachas the Yisod Abba, because she opens up for the Yisod of Abba, a nifta mafteach, which is called a key. So this language, he says that the middle line, which is Yisod, closes up Abba closes up the opening of Ima. But now he says, I wouldn't have said that. I would say that he's there, but he says the use sausim. The ha is patchale, because when he enters into her, and he apparently goes into a sealed place, let's say like that, ki ibacha nifteches the Yisod Abba, she opens up for Abba on nikra mafteach. Shepaseach es Yisod ibacha b'pezach b'peterechem. So therefore he impregnates her in the concept of the original conception. And in that yichud, when he is inside of her, and I think he, like what my misunderstanding is because I thought we were talking about inside of Zair Anpin. It sounds like what he's talking about instead is that Abba goes to a place which is closed, which is called Ima. So somehow he's just an aspect of him, but they don't all go together. As he's going to say, because you have this Yud Vav Daled concept that he talked about before, but in different ways of darshaning it. Shel Zair Anpin beso the Yichud. So now they're together. So Chabadnafik Minah Kadei Sheyatz Zair Anpin. What's the whole idea of the Mafteach opening up Ima and implanting the seed? Is in order that it should come out. These are the seed of Zair Anpin. Bisman Haleda bebechinas parts of Shalom, that when he's born, to the concept of complete parts of tikun b'mei, that is after the tikkun he becomes 10 spheres, besod ha'ivor, in the cycle of ivor. Now that's, to me, this is a very mysterious little idea, but I think that we could say in conclusion that we were talking about Abba entering into a closed door, which is Ima, and opens up the door. Inside of that door he plants this aspect, which is going to become in the 6 kitzvahs of Zair Anpin. I'm once again confused by the fact that he said, the Nafik Bina, let's go back to the Nafik Bina Kadesha Yates Zair Anpin, and the Zair Anpin Bizman Haleda Bebechinas parts of Shalom. Now that phrase parts of Shalom is a problem, because Zair Anpin comes out originally as 6 kitzvahs, not complete parts of. So he said Bizman Haleda Bebechinas parts of Shalom, but this is only, he says, the Achar Atikun. But after there's been a tikkun, but may Ima, where Ima now bringing into Zair Anpin, these are apparently mocha the godless. So let's go on and see a little bit more. It's a little bit vague. Abba Yosef Beresha. Parts of Abba Yosef Berosh, the parts of Abba is at the top. Koloma Shuhu Yosef Penimi Mikulim. So normally, which I say in other shiurim, is that up and down in Torah is also in the Zohar is also the same thing as in and out. So he says that Shuhu Yosef Penimi Mikulim. It's more Penimi. It's more original. Who Rishon V'Rosh B'Biftim. Whoa! I lost him. Okay, I didn't know where I lost you exactly. Can we start at Kuf Nun Vav on that page there? Rebbe, you there?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're starting on page Kuf Nun Vav, and I was just pointing out that there was a kind of a little backwards language that he had over here because we know that Zair Anpin comes out as a Vok, and here he's talking about as a parts of Shalem, and then he has to add on the end of that, that's really referring to the time of the Tikkun. So anyway, let's go on. Abba Yosef Beresha, Abba stands at the top. Parts of Abba Yosef Beresha standing at the beginning, at the very top. Koloma Shuhu Yosef Panimi Mekulim, which means it's more original, more Panimi, more Kodim. Who Rishon V'Rosh Mebifnim. So it's the, I guess, that he is the first and the head from what's inside, compared. V'Inyan who Ki Mochin the Abba Meluvasha B'Tocha V'Netzach Hod Yisod the Abba. So he says the Mochin that are ultimately going to Zair Anpin, I guess, are closed in the Netzach and Hod and the Yisod and the Nai of Abba. And they go inside of the Nai of Ima. Bekulam, he says, and all of them are clothed in the secret of Mochim. Mochim, so these become the Mochim then. Besoch guf Zair Anpin, into the body, into the physical form of Zair Anpin. V'nimsaki mochin the Abba, so it comes out like this, that the mochin of Abba, Yoshim Penimim L'kol Imam Seisa. Now, why do you say that? He says that they're sitting inside of Ima Be'em Seisa, in her middle. Why middle? Mochin the Imam Mamulova Shechabachabinetza Hod Yisod the Ima, so the mochin that are going to go, that are coming from Ima, that are going to go into her Nai, Yoshim Be'emsa, they're sitting in the Emsa. What's Emsa mean? Behind the Bein Netzach Hod Yisod the Abba. So the Mochim are somehow in the middle between the Netzach Hod Yisod of Abba. Ubein Guf Zair Anpin. Now I really feel like I didn't expect this. I want to go to the bottom of the right column, and it says Bekulam. All of them, these Mochim, right? This Lavshim Besoch Mochim Besoch Guf the Zair Anpin. There's no problem there. We know they go into Zair Anpin. V'nimseger Mochim the Abba Yoshvim Pnimim the Kol. So if you want to say she's inside of Ima. Now that's a phrase here. Ima be'em se'isa, and then we see that Ima is in the middle. Middle of what? The mochin, the Ima, the mochin that are Ima is carrying, Muluvashin be'netzach hod yisod the Ima, which are in her nai, Yoshim be'emsa. So here we come a definition, the hainu bein netzach hod yisod the Abba, so her mochin are in between the mochin of Abba, bein the Zair Anpin. Okay, that's understandable. Now I got it, because Ima is the halfway point between what's coming out of Abba into Zair Anpin. And they cover over all the sides. So we find like the Abba, the Nai of Abba, so therefore another way of saying that it is covered over by the Nai of Ima. So therefore the same idea, she also Zair Anpin, she becomes covered by Zair Anpin. So you have this chain, is that Abba is covered by Ima is covered by Zair Anpin. Hamalvi shows some which covers both of them. So Abba is closed over here by Ima. The Ima miskasa bekan the Zair Anpin, and Ima is closed in the same way by Zair Anpin. Now, this interesting idea, but I don't know what he does with it. So he says, by a person's going completely and totally off of the derech, he says he says that to reveal this process, where they're busy hiding themselves and concealing their light, but it is possible, and I'm not sure who would do this or how you would do this, but for our differing sinnings down below, try to open up and get a hold in some way of this light. Or maybe that's not exactly right. The definition just means that's what's happened. Because this causes them to leave. Now, how does it become a gilui? The ve'ima min zer anpin. The nimsa mizgalad yisod abba. So therefore, what happens is that you have you're revealing the sod of zer of abba. Should be covered over by ima. So, but now it's not. Why? Because they're moving out. Now you see you've shown the yisod of ima anpin, which was covered by zer anpin. So that's really what he meant by that. It's a little mysterious phrase. He says that the sitting down below caused abba ve'ima to pull out, and that's the same thing as exposing them because they're not covered over by zer anpin anymore. So biyom haravi the sheshes shemei bereshis. Now we're coming over to this. Is that it? Okay, that's it. Good Shabbos, everybody. Okay.